Something Donald Trump said at NATO today, like Pedro Martinez calling the New York Yankees his daddy in 2004. And we show you this for a different reason. We show you this because one question from a member of the foreign media shows just how far Donald Trump has come, from 4 indictments, 91 felony charges, 2 assassination attempts, the 2020 election, January 6th, to questions like this today.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
Do you regard your NATO allies, though, as kind of like children, and they're obviously listening to you and they're spending more, and you're obviously appreciative of that?
All right, so you remember Pedro Martinez and now Rob Schmidt as well. We have not seen that since Reagan's second term. Donald Trump, 150 days today into his second term, is undisputably the most respected leader in the world. Not just the free world, the world in general. And Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping and the supreme leader, and Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Zelensky and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and everyone else, they all know it. The world may have loved Barack Obama or the idea of Barack Obama. NATO adored Barack Obama, but they respect Donald Trump and they fear him in a very powerful way. Nobody feared Joe Biden. In the last 36 hours, the president has negotiated what could be a historic peace deal between Israel and Iran. He then flew to the Netherlands. He then got NATO countries to finally pony up 5% of their GDP for defense. And he met with the president of Ukraine about ending the war there, and it is only Wednesday. But already, quite a difference from our last NATO summit when President Otto Penn from Scranton was in charge. This was last June, 1 year ago. Remember, Joe Biden is there, and he sees something. And the White House said, no, he was having a conversation with airmen off in the distance. You widen out the camera, there's nobody there. There's nobody there. Who's Joe talking to? What's he doing? Giorgia Meloni, Italian prime minister, grabs our addled, atrophied, calcified former commander-in-chief and brings him back to what everybody else is looking at, the display that everyone was talking about. There's Rishi Sunak and Emmanuel Macron. Macron. That was 1 year ago. Have you ever thought about how difficult it must be to be a Democrat today? Like a real dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. It's the last week of June, the last week of Pride Month, what's been a really weak Pride Month. And by our count, Democrats are now onto their 5th flag in 5 months. In February, it was the Ukraine flag, 3 years since the war in Ukraine started. In April, it was the Palestinian flag during all those graduations and anti-Israel protests and riots across the country. Then it was the Mexican flag during those anti-ICE riots where many of the people rioting and looting were illegal aliens themselves waving the flag of a country that they will not go back to. Go back. We don't want you here. Go back to Mexico. Viva la Mexico. And now it's June. And June has been really confusing. It started with a pride flag and then the trans pride flag, the one with the triangle. And now it's about to end with American citizens waving the Iranian flag.
They're also understanding that most of these wars are for Israel. It's that 7 wars for Israel plan. Iran is the last one standing. But fortunately, Iran, can actually defend itself. I think Iran is actually powerful enough to win this thing. Even the Houthis basically chased away, Trump. So if Trump couldn't beat the Houthis, I don't know how delusional, he is, thinking that Israel can't either.
That woman literally has an Iranian flag in her hand, that woman. Then she goes back to her suburban neighborhood and she's like, hi, Tanya, how are you? How are the kids? No, it's an Iranian flag. We love Iran. We love Iran. Death to America. More on that in a moment. A week away from the 4th of July, notice none of these people are waving the American flag. For these people that you're looking at right there, the American flag is by far the most controversial. Notice that in New York City, residents just nominated a self-avowed socialist radical who also happens to be Muslim to be mayor, a man whose mother claims that he identifies as Ugandan Indian before American. His mother also directed a beloved feature film in 1996 called Karma Sutra, A Tale of Love. Here's the trailer.
Knowing love, I will allow all things to come and go, to be as supple as the wind, and take everything that comes with great courage.
Kama Sutra, the greatest book of love.
Yeah. I didn't see that one. I might now, but I might not. 1996, that came out. The media continue to tell us that all of this is perfectly normal, which of course it is not. We used to take pride in assimilation, pride in the melting pot, pride in America, but Democrats and illegals and all of their supporters are so darn confused now that they are literally waving a different flag every month, including flags from countries where people chant death to America, the Iranian flag, in the streets. Pride flags and Iranian flags at the same protests and parades, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because being gay in Iran is against the law and punishable by death. Look it up. To the point where ICE agents right now are out there looking for over 1,500 Iranian illegal aliens who arrived here from Iran somehow. How did they get here? When Joe Biden was president, 11 have already been arrested, and one of the 11, Rivbar Kermani, reportedly served as an Iranian army sniper from 2018 to 2021. Now, what do you suppose old Rivbar was here to do? Well, how about this? Politico reporting the day after the election in November. According to federal prosecutors, Iran ordered an operative to assassinate Donald Trump before the election, and the alleged would-be assassin remains at large. Now, could old Rivbar be that potential assassin? Of course, we can't confirm that tonight, but Iran orders the assassination of Donald Trump, and ICE agents then arrest a trained Iranian assassin here in the U.S. But according to CNN, people chanting death to America are just misunderstood. They don't really mean that when they say it. Take a look.
Israel stays in place, and that is part of the discussion, right?
Yes, absolutely part of the discussion. And, you know, I remember, Dan, at one point being in Tehran years ago, and they're chanting death to America all around me, even as I say, oh, I'm an American reporting for CNN, and they were happy to speak to me. So that those two sort of jarring realities of the chant and yet the friendliness have existed together.
Okay, just before we get to that, it's just Tehran. It's not Tehran. I was in Tehran. Okay, I was just in Rome a couple months ago, last month, doing the conclave. I didn't say, I was just in Roma. Ciao, arrivederci, I was in Roma. No, we're live reporting from Rome. I'm not in Tehran, I'm in Tehran. Okay, just say it like you would say it here. Don't get cute. Okay, and death to America? What a friendly chant that is. I bet you didn't know that at home. It's a friendly little chant. Death to you in America. What friendly people. You know, I can remember when these two guys broke into my house and took everything we owned, everything, all the jewelry, everything. You know, they were so polite, though. They took off their shoes, all right? They wore those things the cable guys wear, those little things over the shoes, and they were careful not to ding the walls when they were taking our TVs out of the house. They are really just wonderful, friendly, misunderstood people. Death to America. That was a CNN anchor trying to convince her audience that the people chanting death to America are really friendly, nice people. That is CNN and Aaron Burnett, and they are doing that on purpose. Millions and millions of really bad people from more than 175 countries, including Iran, arrived here illegally when Joe and Kamala were in charge, when Democrats were in charge. And as a result of that, we are having problems. In many ways, it's already happening. It's happening every day. But instead of being honest with Americans and covering any of that, they're going to continue to lie that they had anything to do with covering up any of this, and that people who chant death to America are really saying, ciao, arrivederci, we love you, America, which of course is a lie.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.